like you said, though, it's a matter of taking that concept and getting it right. I mean, the worst thing that somebody or a company can do is put a concept out there, it doesn't work, and you just get dragged through the mud for it.
Rennie Knopf with Championship BBQ.TV, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Yay! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Hey, good evening, and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. It's a show that talks about all things that are important to the world of barbecue and grilling, a.k.a. the ESPN of the barbecue and grilling industry. Much like they cover sports, I cover live fire. If you're new to the program, welcome aboard. The show originates from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. And I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here for your Tuesday evening's live fire fun and frivolity show. If you want to jump in on the show tonight, here's how you do it.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to greg@bbqcentralshow.com or on the Twitter and Instagrams at BBQ Central Show.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you can get the newsletter, which you can sign up for at the main website as well. It just takes an email address and away you go. 14 past the hour. It's the first Tuesday of a brand new month, that being February, the Lovers Month. And that means a first hour visit from the co-creator of How to BBQ Right, the pitmaster of Killer Hog's barbecue team, Malcom Reed, joining us. We're doing something fun and frivolous, but fun and informational all at the same time. For the next 4 weeks, this starting week number 1, Malcom and I will be doing a singular barbecue round table. And we're taking the 4 big meats. Tonight, we'll be talking about pork butt solely. So if you've always wondered how Malcom does his pork butts at home, we're not going to be talking competition stuff. We're just going to be talking about the home stuff for now. Maybe we'll stretch it into then another 4-week segment after this 4-week segment of backyard and go competition barbecue. Maybe we won't do that, but that's an option. So if you've always wanted to know how Malcom does his pork butts, and we're going to go right from stem to stern. So we're going to go shopping with Malcom. We're going to see what he looks for in pork butts. Then we're going to prep it. Then we're going to cook it. And then we're going to serve it, and all points in between. So if you have questions or if you want to take notes, this will be the segment for you. As I was getting through the outline quickly, I thought, are we going to have enough time to get through this? But we're going to try our hardest to do pork butt. And then if I have to revamp a little bit or if I have to stretch them out into a second segment and bump somebody else who I already have in place for next month, we'll worry about those things. We'll get the logistics ironed out here over the next couple months. But that's the plan for the next 4. The 4 big barbecue meats brought to you by Malcom Reed and the Barbecue Central Show Backyard Roundtable singular version with the pitmaster of Killer Hogs. Then we will move to 35 past the hour. He has been on the show since 2006 in some form or fashion. Some call him Dr. Barbecue. I call him Ray Lampy. He'll be joining us. Backing up Malcom Reed will be Ray, and we'll be talking to Ray about something that he did this past weekend that he hasn't done in 5 years. We'll also talk about where the status of the restaurant is. And if that isn't enough, we will have a live, local, and late-breaking exclusive announcement to wrap his segment, so stay tuned for Dr. Barbecue. And then we will move to the second hour, if that wasn't enough, because it is the first Tuesday of a new month. In the second hour, that, of course, brings a visit from another YouTube sensation, usually dealing with live fire, whether he likes to admit it or not. Sam, the cooking guy, will be joining me. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about. There's a new book that's coming out. There's some business of a new book, not even in process yet. I don't know if there's been a deal put together since the last time I talked to him, but we'll talk about that. Talk about behind the scenes of of book business, I should say. He did a cooking video on Monday, yesterday, with the new McDonald's hacks, but he did the Sam's version of those. We'll talk to him about that. And then we will also re-loop on that animation that Damian Rodriguez had made for the Sam the Cooking Guy show, and I was so impressed with Sam's animation, I reached out to Damian, and I've animated one of the most controversial and popular bits/segments on the show, the meathead saying that pineapple, barring any other thing, is the best thing to come off a grill. I've animated that. We will be revealing it this evening during the Sam the Cooking Guy segment. Also, we will be playing What Does Sam Like Best as we open that segment. So if you are already on Clubhouse and you want to take part in winning something, now I do apologize. I just told Lance Owens earlier in text message earlier in the week that he should always be taking part in the show. However, he is a recent winner, so I'm hoping that somebody else will want to win. and we can bring you up on Clubhouse. We'll play what Sam's like best, and hopefully you win. It's the best 3 out of 5. And then 35 past, I mean, there's a very good chance Sam's going to carry over depending on how the game goes. We have a lot to talk about, so that's kind of how the show's laying out. I do want to apologize to Chris Young. Scheduling error. You're going to want to check out. I have to rebook him. I totally missed it. It's my fault, Chris. But go to combustion.inc, I believe is the website. Is that it? Hold on. Chris Young. It's combustion.inc. Yeah. Go to combustion.inc. Get a heads up on what we're going to be talking about. It's wireless stuff. It's wireless thermometering. We talked about it last week. Chris, I apologize. It's my fault. Sometimes I missed. Hey, do you follow me socially? You should. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, at Snapchat, at BBQ Central Show. Live video feeds of the show can be found at Facebook and Twitch/BBQ Central Show. Also, a live video feed on Facebook /RD Rempe, although I hate them. Don't forget, we are live on Clubhouse as well. So if you just want an audio feed, download the Clubhouse app and then look for me, the Barbecue Central Show, or Greg Rempe, or however the hell you find me, and then subscribe right through there. You can get alerted when we go live. We do it every Tuesday night. That's how I also take callers, and we will do the game show and some other stuff here. So that's how it all lays out. Live listener feedback from last week's show, and boy, did I have a bunch. Jerry from right here in Cleveland. Greg, I never found the inspiration to write into the show. However, after listening to Suzanne Moskowitz come on the show twice and kill it each time, I had to tell you how great she was. More Suzanne, please. Yes. Jerry, I agree. Suzanne is an absolute shot out of a cannon expert. Brought great anecdotes and great stories to get her point across. It was absolutely wonderful. She's a treat. And at some point, I'm actually going to get my official trademark documents that she continues to hold hostage for some reason. I'm not sure why that is. But she does it. Maybe we'll meet up later this week. I'll shoot her a note. But I got a ton of similar emails saying how great Suzanne is. And we're working to have her back on the show here sooner than later. Peter in Maryland writes to the show, Greg, I was really hoping that Weber was bringing a thermostatically controlled grill to market. Looks like you were wrong, loser.
Get that free stuff out of here.
Love the show. Peter, P.S. Like you and the rest of the embedded correspondents, I would also take a free thermostatically controlled grill if it was offered to me. Of course, because what's rule 3 of the show? If it's free, it's me. We don't have time to go over all the rules of the shows. Rules of the show, I guess I should say. There's 5 of them. But rule number 3 definitively reads and states, if it's free, it's me. So Tim, I wholeheartedly agree with you. Tim in Mississippi writes, Greg, the embedded correspondent segment is the best recurring monthly spot. I love the collection of opinions you guys give about live fire topics. Keep up the great work. Love the show. Regards, Tim. Tim, thank you. We are the live fire industry's leading opinion makers. Myself, Doug, longest running embedded correspondent from Texas. John from Michigan, of course, who's also the executive producer of the Best Moments show. And then, of course, Rusty Monson from the great city of Utah. Leading opinion makers right there. He's also co-host of the Pitmasters podcast. Nick in Vermont writes in as we close it out here. Greg, love the show, long-time podcaster, and I agree with you on your plant-based meat tirade at the end of the show last week during the embedded correspondence segment. If it's not healthier, and you are not...
Andrew, you are not the fire.
And you are not a non-meat eater, then why would anybody eat the Beyond or Impossible Meat product? It's just beyond me. Love the show. Regards, Nick. As I said last week, Nick, during my tirade, as you call it, if it's not healthier for me, why am I doing it? Because I am a meat eater. If I wasn't a meat eater, okay, I see. Nick, thank you for writing in. And thank you for taking my side. Before we get to Malcom Reed, who looks like he's back in studio, I will talk to you quickly about my friend David McDowell over at Do Wellness, davidleans.com/BBQ. Look, what did we talk to you a couple weeks ago? It's not too late. I know the new year is here. You think you might be behind the 8 ball. You wanted to be a healthier version of you in 2022, but you crapped the bed a little bit as the year turned. All right. Don't worry about it. We still have 10 months to go. We can get healthy again. Let's do it. You've heard that having a dad bod is cool. There's a guy that actually takes pictures of dad bod dudes in the barbecue industry and distributes that like barbecue porn, saying, hey, that's cool. You know what? It's not cool. Take it from a stud like me. There's nothing sexy about wearing your gluttony everywhere you go, not to mention being overweight can increase all the causes of mortality, including strokes and cancers and coronary artery disease, and the list goes on. Luckily, thanks to my pal and friend of show, also backyard barbecue enthusiast, and men's health and wellness coach and expert David McDowell, you can eat barbecue all year round and still lose the fat. With David, you've got assistance around the clock. He's just a text message or iMessage or WhatsApp message or an email away. He's also available for FaceTime, Zoom, WhatsApp, video, chat, whatever you need, even on short notice. Some coaches are charging up to $500 a month for a canned diet plan and 1 to 2 check-ins a month. Forget it. Partnering with David allows you access to a resource who's available effectively 24/7. Things have gone so well since we started doing this. You can now join up with him after the fact. $200 a month. It's cheap. You can finally permanently lose all the unwanted fat for 2022, $200 a month. Gang, don't wait. Get on this now so you're ready to win with the health for the rest of 2022. It's David's personal guarantee to you. If you're honest, you make the effort, you'll succeed in losing fat. 100% money returned if you're not satisfied. Hit the website, davidleans.com/BBQ. That's davidleans.com/BBQ to sign up right now. Malcom Reed is ready to talk. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the #1 most downloaded barbecue and grilling podcast anywhere. The BBQ Central Show. Broadcasting live from the BBQ Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by the Barbecue Guru, creators of automatic pit temperature control technology, sellers of ceramic cookers with built-in power draft fans, accessories to make the barbecue and grilling life easier. Visit bbqguru.com for more information or call them 800-288-GURU, the Barbecue Guru, continuing to be a breakthrough in barbecue technology. By the way, if you didn't get the breaking news from Barbecue Guru, friend of show and guest Hall of Famer, Barbecue Bob Trudnak is no longer with Barbecue Guru, announcing that earlier today. So we'll see what he's up to. Booking him here over the next handful of weeks to see what led to the departure and what he is up to as things start to avail themselves in a new form and fashion for Bob, formerly of the Barbecue Guru. But notwithstanding that, it's the first Tuesday of the month. You know what that means? A visit from my pal and pitmaster of Killer Hogs Barbecue, Malcom Reed. Hey, Malcom.
What's going on, Greg?
I am happy to see you. It looks like you're out of the deer blind and back into HQ. Did I pull you back in quickly, or were you really back and ready to rock and roll?
No, man, I've been back. I had to come back to work yesterday, so can't be all vacation.
Yes, well, we're pedal to the metal right now. You're back on the Barbecue Central show for February. Before we get into the pork butt singular roundtable, which you've agreed to do here for the 4 big meats, any big plans for the Lover's Day of Valentine's Day? You a big Valentine's Day guy?
Yeah. I'm going to celebrate so much. I'm taking Rochelle to Jamaica. So
really, look at you setting the bar high for everybody else.
Morning.
Holy moly!
Wow, gone a week. Yeah,
right. good for you. Nothing like getting out of the deer blind, going right down to Jamaica so you can, relax it out, rum it out, maybe nap it out a little bit. Sounds like you got it all planned out.
I got to make up points for all those hours I spent away from home in the blind. So.
That's right. So, as I had mentioned, we are going to do over the next 4 months the 4 big meats and go from start to finish on these. So, much like the old barbecue roundtable shows that I used to do, except we're just going to be doing it with Malcom Reed, who is obviously a hugely accomplished backyard cook and a hugely accomplished competition cook. But as I had mentioned in the open, we'll be focusing more backyard this time around. So if you're interested in competition stuff, maybe that's something we can look at down the road, but we'll do backyard stuff here. So prep stuff. We're going to go to the store. We're following Malcom Reed along. We're getting to the pork butt section. As you look at the bevy of butts, what are you looking for in particular as you start this journey?
The main thing I think is you want to make sure that package hasn't had any air in it. Sometimes they pile those butts in there. They do have bones, so they can poke the package, let a little air in, and that's going to make a soft feeling butt. I just think it gets more age on it that way. So I look for the ones that are tight in the package. Of course, I want a decent money muscle. Even if I'm just cooking it at home, I'm still going to look at that butt. I want a decent fat cap on it. I want to see that fat cap all the way out to the edge. It usually means it's got a pretty good false layer of meat underneath that fat. And that's some of the best meat on that butt there. But 8 to 10 pound butt, feels firm in the package, nice money muscle on front, and you'll be good to go.
Have you tried all of the other grades of pork at this point, all the heritage and the carabutas and all that whatnot?
I've cooked most of them. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Compart pork, that Duroc. I've cooked the Berkshire. I've cooked some of the Cheshire. I've cooked the Carabuta that you can get from Snake River. It's good. I like that for contest because it has more fat content. Fat's flavor. It's expensive just to cook at home, so I don't. A lot of times if I'm just cooking a butt for a get together to give away or just to serve my family, I don't really spend that money on that expensive cut of meat. But when we're at a contest, we do.
I don't want to get off track here, but from a prep and cooking standpoint, is it all relatively the same regardless?
Yeah, it's the same muscle. I mean, some of those cuts they're cut a little different. They break them off a little bit wider. You end up with a little bit of meat, so you end up losing a lot more in the drop. Because when I'm getting a butt ready, I kind of square it up. I usually try to, take wherever the money muscle is and go down that blade bone side and clean that area up and then square off the back of it. There's not a lot of, I don't get real crazy with the prep on a pork butt. Just anything undesirable. Sometimes you can find a few glands they've left in there. I try to remove those. I always check on the sides. That's usually where there's located. And there's usually one up in the seam of it where, on the opposite side of the fat cap. But once I get those out and I clean up any veins I see, it's ready to go.
I never used to really take off the fat cap, opposite side of the meat or underside of the meat, however you want to call it for the folks that are listening. And then over the last couple of years, I've really shaved it right down to the meat. Am I missing something, or is that just personal preference?
Well, a lot of it's personal preference because a majority of that fat's probably not going to render. But if you take it off, there's some really good that false cap meat, and we call it like pork butt bacon. There's those thin strands of that really tender meat that's encapsulated in that fat cap. So you've got that outer fat, then you've got that false cap, and you've got another layer of fat. Then you get down to the butt. Well, if you take all that off, you can lose that false cap. And if you expose too much of the false cap and you leave it on, it's going to dry out. It kind of turns to jerky. So I like to leave it on. Sometimes I'll take it and I'll just score that fat a little, just make some lines in it to help it break down as it cooks. That helps too, unless you get some more rub and seasoning in those cracks and crevices. But for the most part, I'm leaving that fat on. I'm going to render it down low and slow.
At home, are you an injector?
I'm not. I don't, pork, it's got such a good flavor anyway. I want to taste the pork, and you got plenty of moisture in it from the fat that's breaking down, and I'm taking it. See, I'm not a hot and fast guy when it comes to cooking pork butt. I believe that letting that meat slow down, letting that fat break down, it flavors it on the inside, and I can let me concentrate on what I'm doing with the smoke and the seasonings on the outside, ends up a better product. Now, there's nothing wrong with cooking it hot and fast. If you're, pressed for time, you just want to get it done, put it on there and nuke it. But I think you get a much better product if you slow it down, let that fat break down, and you don't need an injection. You don't need to put anything else on the inside of it.
when it comes to putting the rub on the butt, are you somebody that likes to do it X amount of hours in advance or overnight or something like this? Or what is your thought on rubbing the butt?
Usually, I mean, usually I give it an hour at least. I'm a savory guy first. So I like doing that salt, pepper, maybe a little garlic straight on the meat. You don't have to have a binder. You don't, you see, you can use mustard or you can use oil, or there's all kinds of little light coat of vinegar or something you could put on there to kind of make it stick. But if you'll put some salt on it first, add a little bit of savory seasonings with that salt and just let it sit, it's going to start pulling moisture out of that meat. And as it's pulling moisture out, it's taking some of those flavors inside the meat. And so I just let it sweat a little bit, and it doesn't take, I mean, it's okay to do it overnight. I've seasoned up pork butt and put it in the fridge, got it cooked the next morning. It's fine. What it can do, if you put too much seasoning on it, too much sugar, too much salt, you can get a curing effect the longer you let it sit. So I kind of watch it, but if you're just doing an hour or so, it's not going to phase it. It's just going to make it better.
Is it all of the Killer Hogs rubs that you're using, or will you use other stuff?
Man, there's a lot of times I get so many samples of rubs or people want me to try stuff. I've got one of Shell's cabinets full in my kitchen, probably overflowing into another cabinet. So I try to use some of those up, and I'll experiment with stuff. But when it comes down to it, I'm using, basically my AP, which is salt, pepper, garlic. That's the first thing I put on there. And then I'll just usually throw some barbecue rub on it, whichever one I got open. If it's the barbecue rub, if it's hot rub, if it's, some of my buddy stuff, it doesn't really matter. I just kind of want a barbecue flavor on it. I mean, it's, I'm not, saying you got to use one. There's so many great rubs out there, Greg. There's a bunch of good ones.
Anything else in the prep process that you're doing that we haven't talked about?
Nothing that's, just getting a light trim on it, exposing that fat cap a little bit, and, trimming off anything undesirable and getting some seasoning on it, let it set. That's all you got to do. It's really simple.
All right. Malcom Reed joining us here on the show. HowToBBQRight.com is the website. Make sure you're subscribed to him over on YouTube if you aren't already. A lot of us in the live fire world are, of course, and anxiously await those new videos. All right. So let's get into the cooking process here, Malcom. What do you set the cooker up at temperature-wise to cook these?
I'm low and slow. I'm keeping it between 225 and 250, just holding it steady there. It's, optimal if you want to pick a temp, go 235. But I'm putting some a little bit of hickory wood in there, a little bit of pecan, and I like a little fruit wood, so I'll throw cherry or apple, just maybe a chunk or two, to get me some smoke going. And then I'm gonna let that smoker stabilize, throw my wood on right before I'm gonna put the meat on, and then I'll get that butt directly on the grate. Depending on the cooker I'm cooking on, probably gonna cook it fat up. But if I'm cooking on my drum or something like that, a lot of times I'll shield it, I'll flip it over, because that heat's more direct. It's more right below the grate a little ways, so you need a buffer in between it to keep them drying it out. That's when I'd flip it over. But the majority of the time I'm cooking it fat up. And it's going until it hits about 160 internal. That color gets right on the outside.
All right. Don't get ahead of us here, Malcom. Just hold on a second. We got plenty of time to get to all the cooking stuff. I wanted to ask you about cookers, because you're somebody that has a multitude. You have ceramic cookers, you have the pellet cookers, you have a number of offset cookers and everything in between. Is there a favorite one, or is there a favorite cooker that produces the best butt taste to you?
Man, the best taste is hard to beat that drum. Just if you like an old fashioned pit barbecue flavor, meat juices rendering out, dripping on those coals right below it, that gives you real authentic barbecue. So if I had to pick one flavor, that's the one I'm going with. Now, the drawback to it is, 2 or 3 butts on a drum and you're crowded. So if you're just cooking one, no problem. But if you want to cook for a crowd, it's kind of tough with a drum.
I used to do butts directly on the grates like you were talking about. And then maybe it's been 5 or 6 years, I started converting to pan. So if I'm doing a 1 butt, I'll cook it in a half pan. But typically I'm doing 2 or 4 or more. So I'll get the full hotel pans, stick 2 butts in a full pan. With my Traeger, I can get like 2 full pans of 4 butts in there. Seems to have enough room to work. I find that I collect the juice, and I don't think I'm shielding anything, but the end product for me, and the ease, cleanliness, of course, I'm a little OCD. Panning seems to be a good thing. Do you mess around with pans at all, or have you tried that and just figured out that putting it on the grate works best for you?
I do. It really depends on what cooker I'm cooking on. So at contests, we cook on an old hickory, and we want it to be kind of clean. We don't want that grease dripping down the bottom of it. So we'll put it in a pan. I'll put it on a raised rack inside a pan. That way it's not sitting in the juice the whole time. It gives me a little bit better airflow. But when it comes time to wrap it, we take it off the rack and just wrap it up in the pan. So and we start collecting the juice then. But the pans work. There's nothing wrong with that. I just think if you want, like, if you have a drum smoker or somewhere you can drip some of that meat juice on those coals, you'll get a different flavor than you do just cooking in a pan.
During the cook, are you a
that meat juice with the smoke?
That's right. Are you during the cook? Are you a butt spritzer or mopper?
Not usually, man. I usually shut it and forget it. I don't mess with it because I'm not worried about it getting too dark on the outside because we're not cooking too hot. Now, if I was behind and I'm trying to cook that butt over 300 degrees, I'm gonna spritz it. I'm gonna keep me some squeezed butter, some spray butter, some water, and some apple juice, something to keep some moisture on the outside. But low and slow temps with the butt, I want to create that bark. I want it to start drying out because right before it gets too dark, that's when I'm thinking about wrapping it up and getting it tender. So I'm really not worried about spritzing that outside of it.
All right, so you would just kind of dovetailed into my next question there was if you foil, so it sounds like you do, and you're putting stuff in the foil. Is it typical procedure for you to do that at home, foiling at some point?
Usually I do now. I've got two ways I cook butts. I do my don't touch it 225 degree overnight on a pellet grill and you don't do anything to it. You just season it, put it on and let it go till the next morning. But those we don't wrap, we don't do anything to. But if I'm really cooking one on my drum and I want to cook a perfectly tender, good bark on the outside, really worried about that moisture content on the inside, I'm probably going to wrap it. That Texas crutch, they call it, whatever, the foil really does work on a butt. I mean, there's nothing that can get it tender and trap all that juiciness in there. When you cook them unwrapped, you don't use foil, the bark gets a little tougher. You can get a little bit of dryness going on it, but the meat's still good, but it's still, I think you get a more tender butt if you do wrap or use, at least use butcher paper or something like that.
Well, I was just going to ask if you've used butcher paper in lieu of foil, and if you have, what kind of a difference in product you're getting.
The bark's a little firmer. You don't get any of the au jus, the liquid that cooks out of that butt. That's one advantage to cooking in the pan, like you referred to. You get to catch those drippings, and a lot of times I'll use some of those drippings mixed back with the meat to moisten it up, to give it some flavor. I've even, kept that stuff, separated the fat off of it and used it, to flavor other stuff or to make an injection for a contest or to make a dip up before we put something in a box or something like that. That's a whole different ball game. We'll talk about that here in a few months.
What are we talking about for internal finish temp? Or do you not even shoot for a temp? Is it more of a feel?
I do. Like on a wrap butt, I'm going to about 200 degrees. That's kind of the magic number. I mean, you can say, it's done. Once it hits 190, you could start checking it, feeling on it, seeing how soft it is. But the no-fail number is 200 degrees. It's going to be pull-apart tender. It's going to spit that bone out. Everything's going to shred. The majority of your fat's going to render. You're probably not going to have much at all, that less desirable stuff inside that butt when you go to break it down. If I'm doing a no-wrap butt and I'm keeping it 220 the whole time on my Traeger grill, that butt's never going to get much above 190. It just doesn't want to. But I've held the temperature so low and it's rendered out because it's been on there so long. We're talking 14, 15 hours on that butt. And so it doesn't have to go as high to break down because of the time it's been on there. So there's a difference in it. It's kind of about feel. Just like you think about cooking a brisket, we talk about how the probe goes in there and slides in with no resistance. You're looking for that on the butt. It should be super soft in all the muscles. Don't just feel around the front end. Feel those muscles behind the bone and, on the back side of it.
Anything else during the cooking process that we haven't mentioned that you do?
There's not, for cooking butts, there's not, a whole lot. It's just patience and time. I think where a lot of people mess up with butts or they end up cooking some that don't pull apart is they didn't give it long enough. They didn't, you think that you're going to get up, you're going to cook butt and you're going to have it ready for, dinner that evening or whatever, but you want to give yourself a good 12 hours. The rest is important to me on a butt as it is, the whole cooking process. When that thing gets to 200 degrees, I'll take it off the grill, vent that steam off, and then let it sit there for just a few minutes open, and then cover it back up and stick it in a cooler, a dry cooler, and just let it hang out for an hour or two. It's gonna, it's gonna slow down. It's gonna stop cooking. And they say that it'll soak back up some of the juice. I don't believe it's soaking it back up, but what juice was being pushed towards the outside will calm down and go back inside the butt. So you're going to get a better product giving it that rest. And I've left the butt in a cooler for as long as 5 or 6 hours.
Oh, yeah.
As long as you're, if it's 10 degrees outside, you probably can't leave it that long, but on average temperature day, it'll hold it warm for a long time, man. So that's my trick. Give yourself plenty of time. You're going to cook a pork butt. Don't try to rush it.
So we've transitioned into the post-cook and serve process. I talked about the hold there. I am a reckless pork butt puller. I throw the butt in the pan. I just go at it with some meat rakes. Are you more of a discerning butt puller? Will you search out certain muscles and hold them to the side?
That probably comes from my, MBN days. Or breaking a shoulder down in front of a judge. I take my time with it. I'll muscle it out, pull the sinew off the muscles as I'm going, kind of separate it into big chunks, and then I'll break it apart by hand and mix it back together. But I just get a feel for how the butts cook like that, learn the muscles of the inside of it. And I guess it's just a habit. Now, there's been times where we've done a bunch of them, and it's just like you said, we're just chunking bones and pulling fast as we can go. But, most of the time I'm going to take my time, see how it is.
When you're putting,
I'm going to do a little snacking along the way.
Oh, of course. When you're putting the butt together for sandwich, are you a slaw guy? If so, are you creamy or more vinegar based? And is it on the sandwich?
Man, I like a good sweet creamy coleslaw on my sandwich. That's my ticket. No barbecue sauce, bun, big pile of pulled pork, some hot sauce over the top of that, and some coleslaw on top, and I'm a happy man.
All right. Hot sauce on top. I didn't think about that. By the way, I did want to mention before we go, and I think we've timed it out just perfectly here. Last month, we were talking about our shared passion and love for sauerkraut, and then you asked me about kimchi. I said I had never had it. I had it for the first time today. You were right, man. Outstanding. Great spice. I don't have anything to compare it to because it was my first time out, but first time in, I'm in love.
Yeah, did you try it with some good rare beef?
I didn't have any rare beef with me, but I had like a rare piece of tuna, so it was almost kind of like beef.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that being very good. Has some of that same characteristics. Yeah, try it. Next time you want to cook a fillet, get you a beef tenderloin, cut it up into fillets, grill them real hot and fast, and then serve some kimchi alongside with it. Man, it goes. All right. It goes excellent.
I'm going to do that. So we've broken it all down from prep to cook to post and serving pork butts. So if you need more information, of course, go over to Malcom's website, howtobbqright.com, or search him out on YouTube. He's got videos up there as well. And next month, we will do ribs because everybody loves ribs. We're getting a little closer to springtime in March, so we'll do it then. Malcom, always appreciate the time. Enjoy yourself in Jamaica. Tell everybody I said hello, and we'll see you in March.
Hey, thanks, Greg. Have a good one, man. See you next month.
All right, there he is, Malcom Reed right there. HowToBBQRight.com, his website, and, of course, subscribe to him over on YouTube. Fairly successful first-time individual barbecue roundtable. The guy waiting took part in one of the most prolific roundtables ever to grace the Barbecue Central Show airwave/podcast, that being the very first brisket roundtable back in 2007, if you can believe it. That's Dr. Barbecue. He'll be joining me here in just 1 second. I will talk to you quickly about Sterling, Big Papa Ball, and the gang over at Big Papa Smokers, the one-stop online shop for all things barbecue, a curated selection of only the best outdoor cooking and grilling supplies. Will get you on the path to better barbecue results in no time. Everything at Big Papa Smokers, handpicked by Sterling, Big Papa Ball himself. From the award-winning rubs and sauces to the American-made grills and smokers, they have something for every kind of outdoor cook. Now, known for the championship rubs and seasonings, of course, popular flavors like Sweet Money, Cattle Prod, Cash Cow, all proven winners on the competition circuit and in backyards. I've been using Cash Cow on steaks along with the Double Secret Steak Rub, and it is winning in the house, I can tell you that. Big Papa's offering 13 perfectly balanced flavors, transforming ordinary meals into extraordinary. Also, owner of the Granny's Barbecue Sauce line, so if you're looking for a new go-to sauce that will please everybody, give Granny's a try. Maybe you're maybe you've had enough with what's currently out there. You want to try something new. Granny's good all by itself or good for a base sauce that you can trick out from there, aside from the premium selection of rubs and sauces. They have the very best pellet, charcoal, and wood cookers available today. If you're looking for a versatile smoker that's easy to use, check out that Mac 2-star General Pellet Cooker. Big Papa Smokers, the exclusive Mac dealer, even offering special packages. Not a fan of pellet smokers? All right. Take a look at that old Hickory Ace BP, the only charcoal smoker Big Papa trusts on his competition trailer. If you're not sure what grill you need, call them. Ask questions. They're here to help. 877-828-0727. That's 877-828-0727. Or shop their website at bigpopsmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA smokers.com. We are back with Dr. Barbecue right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
And this portion of the show being brought to you by cookandpellets.com, your number one resource for quality wood pellets. For all your pellet-driven cookers, visit cookandpellets.com for more information or to purchase or to see what other products they have. That is cookandpellets.com. My next guest needs no introduction. Appeared on this show in some form or fashion since 2006. An accomplished barbecue cook, author, TV show judge, QVC pitchman, Barbecue Hall of Famer, and, perhaps most importantly, Barbecue Central Show guest Hall of Famer, just to name a few things. Also, one of my favorite guys to talk live fire with in general. Let's hit the hotline and welcome back friend of show, Ray Lampe. Hey, Doc.
Hey, Greg, good to hear you. I'm a member of the Barbecue Central Hall of Fame. I did not know that.
You didn't know that?
Are you sure?
Ray, you were in the 2018 inaugural class, of course.
You didn't tell me.
Yeah, of course I did. I mean, I'm sure it just flew right under the radar. I mean, it's
okay. Well,
it's not the Barbecue Hall of Fame, but yeah, I mean, this is. Here's what I'm coming to find out. I'm announcing people that are coming on my show as also a Barbecue Central Show guest Hall of Famer, and the first thing they say is, I am. So evidently my promotion team needs to get on this a little bit more.
Maybe that email went in my junk pile, but thank you. I'm honored.
Of course. We're happy to have you be the inaugural class of Barbecue Central Show guest Hall of Fame. So it's been like since April of 2020, the last time we had you on the show, so almost 2 years. A lot of things have transpired, of course. And first and foremost, how was the new year finding Dr. Barbecue?
Oh, so far so good. You know, it's nice down here in Florida. We had 2 days of winter, but other than that, it's going well. And working on a lot of, we're finally going to get back to traveling and some real normal life this year after 2 years of hanging out.
How's the restaurant doing? And how did you fare through the teeth of COVID? Because that was a big deal for a lot of restaurants.
It's doing well, and we did well, all things considered, we did well through it. Barbecue restaurants, I think in general, did pretty well because it travels well. It's good carry out. If you're only going to have one meal this week, it's going to make you feel better. And I think we lived with all that. And we also were right after it. I think we might have closed for one day or none. And we just laid everybody off except the managers. And we stood outside and sold barbecue in the parking lot and sold drinks in the parking lot. And I mean, you name it, like everybody did. I couldn't understand the people that just closed because from day one, who knew how this was going to go? And obviously it's dragged on and dragged on. So we just did everything we could. The delivery and carry out services have been good to us, as horrible as, it is the money they take. It's better than nothing. And of course, we all got a little government cheese, and that helped get through it as well. So, 2 years later, we're okay. I'm not going to say it's great, but we're okay.
Ray Lampe joining us here on the show, drbbq.com, his website, Dr. Barbecue on a lot of the social media handles as well. Ray, after a 5-year layoff, you decide to go out and compete this past weekend. I mean, that is, to me, very honorable to have a 5-year layoff. I think the last time you competed, it was, a number of years in between competitions as well. So this is something that you are all of a sudden becoming known for these wide layoffs, and then you go out and compete. What's the motivation to do it?
Well, yeah, 2016 was the last one. Couple things. For one, truly, my trailer's just been sitting there since like 2018 was the last sticker on the license plate, and I needed an excuse to get it out, clean it up, and sell it. And I figured, okay, I'll go to the Lakeland Pig Fest, which is what I moved to Florida because I had been coming down to the Pig Fest and knew it was a good place to hang out and install barbecue. And I had a couple of cookers I needed to sell. I just was getting too much stuff laying around. So figured I would do that. Well, I ended up selling all of it before I got there. So I really didn't need to do that, but it was still a good excuse. And there's a little bit of vanity to this. I've been cooking. Well, it'll be 40 years this year since I went to my first cook-off. I've won contests in the 90s and in the 2000s and in the 2000 teens. And, so I might have to get serious somewhere along here just to get that fourth decade, get a grand. But I certainly wasn't prepared for this one because it didn't go very well. But it was also a lot of fun to go hang out with everybody. It's been a long time. So, a lot of reasons. And a lot of it was a success, not so much the scores.
You have often on the show in past visits called the barbecue cooks on the competition circuit these days technicians. Did you decide to be a technician this past weekend, or did the roots of Ray Lampy come out and just be a barbecue cook?
Decide is not the right word. Attempt would be the right word. And it was a miserable failure. I went to Leanne Whippen lives down here now, and we get to hang out a lot. So we went over to the Plant City Cook-Off, and there was these guys there. Smoking Ain't Easy. That I had met him before. Leanne was pretty good friends with him, so we sat around with him for a couple hours. And Sam was nice enough. He showed us everything. I mean, literally showed us all he was doing, and it was all that technician type stuff. So me thinking, okay, I can do this. This is no problem. I'll be able to handle this. But I didn't practice anything. I bought one of them big A9 briskets and cut the heart out of it and shaped it pretty nice, and then proceeded to cook the shit out of it and just made a mess of it and overcooked it. And I rolled up my pork loin. My pork loins I thought were pretty good. My buddy John cooked the ribs, and he burned them up a little bit, which is, we're just so out of practice. So I did try that technician stuff. But so now I made up those little money muscle rolls, and I had them on the internet. I thought I was great. I had to figure out how to cook those. But then it came time to cook them, and I wasn't exactly sure what I should have done with those and how long. And do I cook them slow? Do I cook them fast? And, a little bit of practice might have been smart, but I didn't have time, and I didn't care that much. I probably should have just done everything I used to do the old way, and at least I'd have felt better about it. So kudos to those technician guys, because with zero attempts to practice, I didn't do a very good job of it.
So now that we're in the 2020s, as you had mentioned, you've had wins in all the subsequent decades dating back to the 1980s, 90s, whatever. Would you take a class, or would you scour the internet, or would you pay for a master class? I mean, there's so many different ways to ramp up the learning curve to be, I guess, somewhat competitive at this point. Would you do something along those lines just to get a better feel for it, or would you judge instead?
I would. Well, I judge pretty often just to kind of keep my toe in the water. I don't know that really accomplishes much. I took Heath Riles, did a class over at Whiskey Bent a couple years ago when we were first getting the restaurant teed up, and the whole team wanted to go, so we went over there and did that. And I took a Trigg and Rod Gray class years ago, so I'm certainly not above any of that. I would do that for sure, but I think I know basically, I got the basic idea of what people are doing these days. I just think buy 10 briskets and cook them, and practice, and then maybe take one of the classes to really dial yourself in. I think, and I recommend that to people all the time. There was a guy coming around at the cook-off the other day thinking about getting his joining up signing up a team, and I said, man, go take one of them classes, spend the money. It'd be well worth your time, because you're just we always said it, but it's probably true more now than ever, that you'll just bypass all that money you would have spent learning.
Ray, you've seen competitions and taken part in competitions for a long period of time, almost all the way back since the beginning of this. And I don't know if this is too broad of a question, or if you're going to be able to pick two or three different things. But as you look back to how it started to where it is today, what do you think are the 2 or 3 biggest changes or evolutions to competition barbecue as it's gone through the years?
Well, like so many other things in our life, the internet, I mean, even going back to the early days of the barbecue forum, the Ray Basso forum, we could find each other. I truly remember when waiting for the KCBS bullshit newspaper to show up because you had no other way to know what was going on. Literally wait for that newspaper and read it at the end of the month. I mean, unless you had some friends and you called them and stuff. So the internet has just allowed us all to find each other to a ridiculous level. And also then, product availability. I say this a lot about wood, the reason they cook hogs over hickory wood in North Carolina is because that's what they had. They used oak and mesquite and beef in Texas. Now we can order wood from anywhere in the world, and its combinations, and getting peach wood when you're in the Dakotas, and what I mean, it's amazing what we have. So the internet has just changed everything now. And you want to get about the nuts and bolts stuff. Well, I think we've let the tail wag the dog. I think the cooks, and then combined with the judges, have created what they want, and I don't think it was necessarily best for the whole package. I often talk about NASCAR. NASCAR is, if everybody's cheating and driving down below the line and on the corner, the curb, they make a rule that says if you go under there, you got to stop for a lap and you're going to lose. And they, because it's the right thing to do. We probably should have never let everybody start cooking in their motorhomes, because it just it looks like a campground. It doesn't look like a cook-off. I think we've hurt ourselves a lot. If you show up at a cook-off at 6:00 on a Saturday night, now if you heard you didn't know anything about it, you heard there's a cook-off in Cleveland, you might go at 6:00 on Saturday thinking you're going to have dinner and meet some people and learn all about this. Meanwhile, what you're going to see is an empty parking lot because we're all gone home already at 6:00 on a Saturday. I mean, so that kind of stuff I think has really hurt us. Amazingly, we've thrived, and there's a whole lot of us that were able to quit having a real job, and Malcolm's one of them, and so. But to me, it was the entrepreneurs, the guys that were probably going to do it anyway. If you thought just going to cook-offs was going to make you rich and famous, that probably wasn't going to work out. You're going to have to do a little entrepreneurial legwork yourself. But we've had the opportunities and we've done it. So as much as I criticized a lot of that stuff, somehow it all worked.
Ray Lampe joining us here on the show, drbbq.com, his website. All right, Ray, stand by for this.
A Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
Greg Rempe reporting from the breaking news desk here in Cleveland, Ohio, the city breaking the most live fire breaking news as it breaks across the country, nay, the globe. And we go down to Florida, where Ray Lampe is going to be breaking some news for us right here on this show. Ray, the stage is yours.
This is where I always come when I've got something important to say, Greg, and you are the man, and I appreciate the stage to say it from. After 2 years of not working for a grill company, I have just come to an agreement with a new grill company, new to me, Louisiana Grills. I will be working with them going forward.
Right.
Details come. We just got the agreement signed today, but I am really excited about that. I took a couple years off, and obviously COVID was it wasn't like the whole situation was thriving, but I needed to let that old deal rest a little bit, and it has, and we're past it, and it's time to go forward with somebody that thinks I can help them, and I think I can as well.
Is that the key in finding a relationship? I'm not going to ask you specifically about Louisiana Grill and this and that, but just from your time, everybody knows you had a huge history with Big Green Egg, and it was 15 years or however long it was. I mean, it was quite a long tenure. Especially when you look to see how business dealings are done today. It's maybe a year, maybe it's 6 months, and who knows. In your opinion, if somebody was going to be trying to do what you do, what should you be bringing to the table for the grill company? And then on the other side of that, what should you be looking for from support from the manufacturer?
Well, it's one of those things that you have to have the experience to get the job, but you can't get the experience unless you have the job. Luckily, I believe I was probably the first barbecue contest guy that got hired by a grill company, and it was a wing and a prayer, and it wasn't a lot of money in the beginning, but we all worked together with it as the whole situation grew, the barbecue in general. everything just became the internet as well helped us a lot. So I was lucky enough to achieve all of that experience. And when that deal just came to an end, it was a nice run. It was all good. I wasn't ready to just sit at home and not do that again. It's a big part of what I do for a living is promote grills, and I didn't want to wait for the right time. But you want to look for, first of all, I tell guys all the time, and I'll say, please, don't work for free. A grill is not a payment. You shouldn't work for free just to appear. That's not how you get in the game. Okay, you're in the game, but you still got to keep your job. So I think we've kind of made a mistake there. The book business is the same way. People are paying to write their own book, and I don't understand that aspect of the business. So I think, take it as serious. You understand your value. If you've got a lot of influence in this world, you should get paid for that. And you got to find the right company and the right fit. And in this case, I really feel like I have. It's a pretty impressive family-owned company, and I'm really excited to get to working with them. So, what should you expect from them? Well, as much as you deserve. But again, don't give it away for free. The old saying, why would I buy the cow if I'm getting the milk for free? And there's a whole lot of guys giving the milk away these days.
Ray, from a book standpoint, you had just kind of mentioned it offhand there when we were talking about teaming up there with Louisiana Grills. Anything coming up on the book front?
No, in theory, in my resume, it says I'm working on my 10th book. I guess you're always working on one, but nothing serious. That business has had a tough go as well. For one, we have the internet. That's one thing that the internet has hurt is the book business. Although it's hung in better than anybody expected, to be honest. And but there's like everything else, there's a lot of people doing it for nothing or for free because it's going to help promote their brand. And I get that, but boy, at what point, what are you going to get paid for if everything you do is to help promote your brand? There's got to be an end game somewhere where you get paid for it. And luckily I had a nice run in the cookbook business when we were getting paid pretty well, and so I'm not running to the store to do it for nothing. But you never know; something good could come up, and it probably will.
Announcing his new relationship with Louisiana Grills right here on the show. It's Dr. Barbecue Ray Lampe. So make sure you follow him to see how that whole relationship will unveil. And as things come up, Ray, obviously, please feel free to drop me a line. We'll have you back on. We can talk about things that are going on with the grill company or whatever else you have. But great to catch up with you, and wish you continued success. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Greg. Yeah, let's do it more than every 2 years now.
Yes, let's do that. My promise to you, of course. That is Ray Lampe right there, Dr. Barbecue, and he is in with Louisiana Grill. So great to hear. Did a great run with Big Green Egg, and now I can only anticipate it will be even better with Louisiana Grill, a great family there, of course, owned by the Dansons family of companies. Pit Boss is in there, Louisiana Grill. I think it's Country Smoker, or Southern Smoker, something like that. So there's a whole bunch of grills in that family, if you come to think about it. Very impressive. So congratulations to Ray on that. All right, I'll talk to you quickly about another great grill, Green Mountain Grills. That's right. Jason Baker and the gang over there offering some of the best pellet cookers out there on the market. They have a choice line to choose from. They also have a prime line. You choose. If you want tech, if you want a little bit more of a robust build on the chassis, if you want to be able to look in the cooker, if you want lights in the cooker, Prime Grill is the one you want. If you don't care about all that stuff, you don't need the Wi-Fi or the app connectivity, get the choice line. Now, either one accommodates the pizza oven insert. You're going to want to get that. Everybody loves high-heat pizza. It's all the rage these days. And it's so fun. Cheese pizza for the kids, pepperoni pizza for you, everything pizza for the wife. Whatever you got, it's fine. Get it. They're sold through dealers only. GreenMountainGrill.com is the website. That's GreenMountainGrill.com. Find a dealer near you. Visit them. Get educated. Buy the one that's best for you. Get the accessories if they have them. If not, get them at the website, GreenMountainGrill.com. And then you're off and running. Success right out of the box. Why? Because they've taught you right there at the dealer. Green Mountain Grill. One of my favorite cookers, absolutely. Make them one of yours, too. Check out the website, check out the dealers, and away you go. We're back to wrap the first hour right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And we're back. We thank Ray Lampe for joining us last segment. This portion of the show being brought to you by Fireboard 2, Fireboard 2 Dry, Fireboard 2 Pro. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring, or connect via Bluetooth. If you have Alexa or the Google Assistant in your home, you're in luck. Fireboard fully integrated with both of those. You can find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232 with Fireboard 2, Fireboard 2 Drive, Fireboard 2 Pro, and the Fireboard Spark. Get it. By the way, I had mentioned my humble apologies that I screwed up the scheduling with Chris Young over at Combustion. He sent me an email. I was like, oh, please forgive me. I'm an idiot. Can we reschedule the next open date? He said, okay. And then he sent me a follow-up email saying, forgot to add, don't know if you've seen all the new details, but we've updated our site and are taking pre-orders, although they're running out quickly. So if you're interested in looking at something that would run across that Yumly meat stick wireless thermometer type thing, combustion.inc is the website. You can go run over there real quick and see what's happening with that. And if you want to pre-order it, go ahead and pre-order it. I mean, it's got to deliver quicker than the meter, right? I mean, that thing almost never delivered. And now Traeger has it. I'm still thinking they're going to release something later in the year, end of summer, or end of spring, summertime. By the way, show note, Jeremy Andrews scheduled to appear in the first hour next week, so you can rest assured I'll ask him about plans with the meter and if they're going to rename it and they're going to do better with it than it exists now. They can't leave it as is underneath the Traeger umbrella. There's no way they can do that. Doesn't fit their standard, in my opinion. All right, we are pointing to the second hour. If you, in advance, let me say this. If you want to take part in the Sam the Cooking Guy, What Does Sam Like Best game show, go to Clubhouse now or download the Clubhouse app now. Sign in, make your account, do whatever it is that you do with that. And then search the Barbecue Central Show or search me, Greg Rempe. Tune into the show. And then when we get to the point where I'm asking for volunteers to come on and play, I will either ask you to come on stage, and then all you need to do is accept that, and then I will pick somebody from there. But we got to get you up on stage. It didn't work out too well last week for Guy the Cooking Sam, but hopefully as we continue on with this, it gets a little bit better. It's my promise to you to bring you great sounding quality shows, number one. Number two, ease of entry if you want to take part in the show. Although sometimes it doesn't work that well. We try. Sometimes it doesn't work. All right. Once again, we thank Ray Lampe for joining me last segment. His website is drbbq.com. That's drbbq.com. You can interact with him socially at drbbq. And look for that new partnership that will be further announced over the next coming days and weeks with Louisiana Grills. We are pointing the second hour. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the number one most downloaded barbecue and grilling podcast anywhere. The Barbecue Central Show.
Hi, this is Austin Parsons, Pitmaster with Smoky Mountain Q in Nashville, Tennessee, and you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing. We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how you doing?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish, what?
He ate 2 feet for wieners.
But listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. Welcome aboard. It's the Barbecue Central Show. We talk about live fire, barbecue and grilling / Barbecue Central Show type stuff. We do it live right here every Tuesday. That's right, Bill.
Do it live.
9 to 11.
I'll write it and we'll do it live.
9 to 11 live every Tuesday night, Eastern. Then it's also being recorded at this very second. And tomorrow you will find hour number 1 in the podcast feed. Thursday you will find hour number 2 in the podcast feed. And I'll tell you all about what's coming up Friday shortly. I'm looking at Clubhouse right now. Guy Chisholm is trying to get on stage. I hit invite on stage, and then nothing happened. You know what? I'm going to break format here just for 1 second. Guy, are you there?
Am I there? Yeah, I'm right here.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it worked this time. Nice.
Well, it worked. Maybe it worked the last time, and I just wasn't aware. So you're going to be set? Yeah. You want to play the game when Sam comes on in about 13 or 14 minutes?
Absolutely.
All right, so you stand by. I'm going to mute you. Don't go anywhere. Stand by and listen to my excellence as I get through the top of the second hour here. Still to come on the show this evening, Sam, the cooking guy, thecookingguy.com, his website. You can also subscribe to him on YouTube / Sam the Cooking Guy. Don't forget you can follow me socially at BBQ Central Show on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Snapchats / BBQ Central Show on Facebook and Twitch / RD Rempe on YouTube for video feeds. And as we had just found out, we are live on Clubhouse as well. Guy waiting in the wings to play the game show with Sam the Cooking Guy when he comes on. Lastly, you can get an ad-free podcast experience through these two channels, patreon.com / BBQ Central Show, or if you are an Apple Podcast user / listener, on that platform, you can subscribe for an ad-free experience right in the show through that banner that's there atop. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less this coming Friday, we go to episode 214, taking you back to 2017. One of my favorite guests, one of my favorite guys in general, doesn't have to be talking about barbecue, but just one of my favorite dudes. Clarence Joseph of Mama and Papa Joe's Barbecue joined me back in 2017. This time of year brings what? The San Antonio Rodeo Barbecue Cook-Off. By the way, shout out to Fred Robles, Rio Valley Meats, winning this past weekend. It took place this past weekend, and he won. Fred continuing to prove that he is one of the elite in all of barbecue cooking, can win in all different sanctioning bodies. So we congratulate Fred for winning the San Antonio Rodeo Barbecue Cook-Off, or whatever the hell it's called. Now, getting back to the pitch here for this coming Friday, back in 2016, Clarence Joseph was grand champ of that event. And during the visit here in 2017, which you will hear this Friday, I had him back on the show to talk about his chances of going back-to-back grand champs at that event. That didn't happen. But we talked about what it was like for him also to teach barbecue competition cooking classes. And then, weeks removed, or a weekend removed outside of those classes, having his students go out and beat him at the events that followed later in the year. Bittersweet issue that we talked all about. Very interesting conversation there. So if you aren't familiar with Clarence Joseph, or CJ as we call him within the biz, he's as genuine as they come, an incredible human, and a great competition cook to boot. So this is something from a segment that I know you're going to really enjoy. Make sure you check it out. I would also encourage you to hit the full link download so you can hear the full conversation. Plus, it's a great show. There's other guests within that show. Remember, the best of show is just a gateway into one section of one portion of one show. There's an entire conversation within the section that John pulls out, but there's also a full 2-hour show. So make sure you go back and listen if you haven't caught all of those. They're great little insights, great little motivators to take in the full show. And the link to every full show is right in the show notes. So if you're inspired enough to go back and check it out, click on that link. Very easy for you. And don't forget, if you want to hear a guest or a segment again that's been lost in the archives, but you know keywords or dates or certain things about the segment, email those to John, Jon, at thebbqcentralshow.com. That's Jon at thebbqcentralshow.com, and let him know what you would like. Believe it or not, he will do his best to meet your expectation. He's very good at doing it. Just ask our friend Lance Owens from the beautiful paradise of Hawaii. He had one put together last week when we were talking about the penis and balls issue. Remember that?
Get that free stuff out of here.
Go back and check it out. As we get ready to talk to Sam, the cooking guy, I want to take a moment here and give a special mention to John Davis, who is the general manager and the staff over Jeff Ruby's Steakhouse, everybody, in Columbus, Ohio, for what was a great evening this past Saturday night. We were down in C-Bus for volleyball. We're going to be down in C-Bus a bunch of times this year. We were there this past weekend for a volleyball tournament, Winterfest. For the youngest, she did a very good job individually. Team, little lackluster compared to the previous tournament here in Cleveland, but early in the season yet. No matter. Great night in Jeff Ruby's Steakhouse. I think they're just kind of local brand here. Started out in Cincinnati, which was, at that point, the Precinct. And the Precinct back in the day might have been nationally renowned as a great independent steakhouse. Now it's Jeff Ruby's The Precinct, or whatever they call it. Then they've opened Jeff Ruby's, I think, is also in Louisville. There's one here in Columbus. Probably have 5, 6, or 7 or less within a regional area here. In the world of hit and miss experiences at higher end steakhouses, and I have had both the heights of elation and the depths of outright despair at these places, Jeff Ruby's never fails to deliver on experience and food. I posted pictures of the strip steak that I had. I had posted pictures of the filet that Marley had, my youngest. My wife went outside of the box, decided to opt for not the steak, went with the sea bass, because if sea bass is anywhere, she's all about the sea bass. Doesn't matter. Love the sea bass. Everything exceptional. And of course, along with that, service top-notch. Our server was spectacular, very attentive, but not overly attentive, if you know what I mean. Riding the fine line in the most professional ways possible. So I would say this: if you are going to Columbus anytime soon, if you are going to visit just because Columbus is the capital of Ohio and you are on a personal mission to see all capitals of all states in the country, Columbus is your next trip. Make sure that you have a dinner reservation at Jack Ruby's. Sorry, Jeff Ruby's. Jack Ruby's dead, everybody. He was shot.
Get that free stuff out of here.
Jeff Ruby's, or if you're going to be there for business, you got a conference, or like me for sports, looking for a great place to get a steak. They also have really great sushi there. The seafood is really good. They've knocked it out of the park each and every time, as I said, which is very hard for these kind of places to do, because all it takes is for one mediocre or lukewarm experience in some place that's charging a premium for meat. And, everything's going up, of course. And if your experience isn't great, you're pissed. I know. I've been there. But for business, if you're going to be taking somebody on the Company Express account, great place to go, of course. This is the place. We're actually playing, as I had mentioned, Columbus 4 times in total this season, so I'm sure we'll be back at least once or 2 more times. If I can make a menu suggestion, though, John, give me a dry-aged, let's push it out. 70-day. You have a 70-day dry-aged ribeye, but I don't want to spend $100 for that.
Get that free stuff out of here.
I'm in New York strip mode right now. I'm a big lover of New York strips right now. I want at least 50, but I would prefer a 70-day dry-aged steak. I think St. Elmo has a, strip steak. I should be more specific. I think St. Elmo carries a 70-day dry-aged strip steak on their menu. So that's my suggestion. Or have something off menu for us nerds. Make us feel a little special. But other than that, Jeff Ruby's knocking it out. Love it. So if you're going to be in Columbus, check out Jeff Ruby's. As for John Davis, the general manager, tell him the Barbecue Central show sent you. Be like, oh yeah, the barbecue guy. Yeah. We are waiting for Sam the Cooking Guy to show up. We'll play the game when he comes on, and then we'll take it from there. I'll talk to you quickly about Primo Grill. What do we love about ceramic cookers? We love that they're fuel efficient. We love that you can achieve low and slow temperatures for traditional barbecue meats. We also love that you can get rip-roaring hot for high-temperature grilling of steaks and other thin cuts. But what's missing in the everyday lineup of ceramic cookers? The real ability to do two-zone cooking. Two-zone cooking, very important for both professional and backyard cooks alike. It's the best way to manage a fire and cook with confidence. However, getting a two-zone fire in a round ceramic cooker is not very realistic. Why? Because it's round. Enter Primo and their game-changing oval design. The shape gives you the ability to execute a two-zone setup that you desire. It also gives you the other ceramic grill benefits as well. Really, when you break it down, there's more than 60 different ways to cook on a Primo. You're only limited by your culinary imagination. Now, maybe you're somebody that's like, I love great oval cookers, but if they don't have accessories, I'm out. Well, guess what? You're in luck. Primo has a number of great accessories. They've made great upgrades to the grill as well. The lift hinge, the air dampers top and bottom. They also have that Primo Grill rotisserie, the Primo Grill pizza accessory. Come on, what do you want? They have the half drip pans, the rib racks, a bunch of accessories to complete that experience for Primo. Find them all at your dealer right now. Like Green Mountain Grills, these are also sold through dealers only. Go to primogrill.com, find a dealer near you, check them out, buy everything that they have. And if you just have to have a round ceramic cooker, Primo has those as well. But the thing that sets them apart is the oval design. You want the ability to do two-zone cooking, right? The real way? Get the oval. Stop. Who's ready for a Primo? I'm ready for one. I know that. Primogrill.com is the place to go. Follow them on Instagram and Facebook as well. And we're back with Sam the Cooking Guy right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
Welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet, currently available in 3 sizes with a host of accessories. If you're a beginner, if you're a professional, doesn't matter. You definitely want to add this cooker to the arsenal. Visit pitbarrelcooker.com and tell them the Barbecue Central show sent you. By the way, I will have a breaking announcement / promotion for you next week because Noah and I laid down a bet. The owner of Pit Barrel Cooker, he thought it was a sucker's bet. Well, guess what? It was a sucker's bet. For you, Noah, I won. And now you're going to pay the fiddler, and it's going to cost you dearly. And I have made requests to get huge discounts off of the end grain cutting board products because those things are magical. So stay tuned next week. I'm locking it in with Amber right now because Noah doesn't know when to not bet, and I won. So there you go. Stay tuned next week for a special announcement as far as that's concerned. My next guest continues to napalm all over YouTube with his great videos 3 times a week. 3.24 million subscribers as I looked a little bit earlier today. A Barbecue Central Show guest Hall of Famer, and the list goes on. We welcome Sam the Cooking Guy to the show. Hey, Sam.
I'm just fucking with
I
you,
know. I could hear you mouthing.
Yeah, I could.
Good try, but that didn't
Yeah,
work
this is
out.
our second time today talking.
I know. Is it second?
Yes.
Why did I feel like we were also on? Yeah, second time. All right. It was
Second time,
Dr. Barbecue. I sound checked twice today because we
People
green
don't.
screened him in. Believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Did you see it?
Green screened him in. No.
Yeah. Check this out. He's not really at a bar outside.
You know, there's always something funny about some of these green screens. You know, so many of the newscasters are still working from home. I don't know why they can't go into the studio. But there's also a lot of people that use the green screen, and yours is good because you've got your stuff figured out. You're technically savvy.
I don't have a green screen on. This is a real image.
Oh, it is. Okay. Okay, whatever. But
I did,
sometimes
though.
you use stuff, right?
I did, yes.
Yes. Okay. So, but there's people that use them, and when they turn their head, like the ear kind of cuts off. There's a weird shit. I don't think people should be so invested in the green screens. Nobody believes that you're in London or Paris.
Right.
Sparky. Just
Nonsense.
do this. This is real background behind me.
This is a real background too. Right there. Hire a photographer, have them take a picture of your skyline, and then set it up on the brick walls behind you in the basement, and away you go. Just make sure it's out of camera shot.
By the way,
of the women, right?
At your suggestion today, I reached out to Sweetwater to get that little deal I need for the other thing.
The boom arm?
See, yes,
Yeah.
there it is.
All right.
I want to be able to use this, but I can't because this won't fit on that. So,
all right.
People would be fascinated with our conversations.
No doubt about it. All right. Do you want to play that game that we're playing every month? The What Does Sam Like Best?
I love the game. I love the game.
Right. Well, you'll be happy to know we have figured out technology. Thank goodness. And joining us for this month's edition of What Does Sam Like
Tell
Best?
me it's not Lance.
No, it's not Lance. I told Lance.
Not that I don't like Lance.
I
There's
know,
too
but
much Lance.
I told Lance, you can never not participate in the show. However, because you've already won something, radio rules apply. You got to wait like 90 days in order to win something. Although he is listening.
No, I don't think that's right.
via Clubhouse.
Look, I'm on once a month.
Yes.
I don't think 90 days is enough. I think he needs a 6 month.
Wow. 6
window.
months. Sorry, Lance.
6 months.
Come back in 6 months, pal. At least for the Sam segment. If we need you for the embedded correspondence stuff because
course.
you get in, that's
he
fine.
He
But
can embed
just for the
himself
Sam.
all he wants.
That's right.
Okay, here we go.
All right, so this is somebody who would go by the handle Guy the Cooking Sam, but he's Guy Chisholm.
Love
Guy,
that.
you there?
Got it.
Yes.
All right, Guy is here.
Hey.
Now,
Oh, this is the greatest day of my life.
of course it is, Guy.
Well,
Before
that's
we
what
get
I
in,
find out, Guy.
before we get in,
Does he want to know what he's playing for?
hold on. Before we get in to the show tonight, Guy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, what do you want to know? Let's see. I enjoy ice cream and a nice pair of slacks.
All right, nice pair of slacks. I think he said. Wow, I love that. Perfect.
No, I enjoy live fire cooking, and what drew me like a moth to the flame to all of you knuckleheads and
yes, knuckleheads.
Just
Guy trying to be very endearing to the host and the contestant here, which I certainly appreciate. Sam, why don't you tell Guy what he is up for winning tonight?
The Guy will be playing for a Make America Cook hoodie, just like I'm wearing.
Wow.
By the way, you go to Shop STCG. You can go to shopstcg.com and get your own. But Guy, if you figure this out, you won't have to go there. We will send you one.
Wow. All right. So, Guy, you have a chance to win a Make America Cook Again hoodie. It's a hoodie?
Yes.
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 All right.
Or
he
can have if that means flavor, then I'm fucking delicious. Instead, he can have his choice.
All right.
That's how I'm in such a good mood tonight.
Such a good mood. So we have a choice
But
tonight.
by the way, I'm not like I have done once before. I'm not going to cheat on my answers to help somebody win.
That's right.
Tonight, Guy, it's
full
all got to be you.
Guy, it's got to be you. All right, Guy.
Bring it on. Let's go.
This is what we're going to be doing tonight. We're playing What Does Sam Like Best? It's best 3 out of 5. I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to tell me what you think Sam would answer, the correct answer. Ready to play?
Can I just tell Sam what you like?
Can you what?
Tell me what I.
Can I just tell
what?
Sam what he likes? I think I know him better than he does.
Guy,
well, let's find out. Don't
do
you be the
do you
judge
want to
of me.
play the game, or do you want me to hang up on you, Guy? You're really pushing the boundaries here. I'm gonna let it go.
Greg.
Here we go.
Don't mess with Greg.
Oh, Guy. Of the two,
Yep.
would Sam prefer a prime grade steak or a Wagyu steak for everyday eating? Not as easy as you thought it was
See,
gonna be.
well, every time I see him cook something, he's using Wagyu and grinding it and doing everything else with it. But for everyday eating, I'm going to say prime.
Prime. All right. Final answer?
Yes.
Lock 'em in. Smoking Joe's Barbecue Pit. Backing you up on Instant Chat. We go to Sam. Which one do you like better for everyday eating?
He brings up a good point. I do use a lot of Wagyu only because it's kind of fun and I like the extra, the flavor and fattiness and stuff like that. But he's right. It would be a prime every day. One for him.
From Costco, right?
Very good.
Good job, bro. Good job. Keep it going. Only two more.
Let's see if you can do it all three in a row. We haven't done that yet. Oh, Guy. Which does Sam like better for a pizza topping? Pepperoni or mushroom?
I'm going to say that's a tough one. Why wouldn't you put both on? But, pepperoni.
Final answer?
Man, it's gonna have to be. Unless, he uses so many different mushrooms, but pepperoni.
You want to rethink that, Guy? You want to rethink that?
No.
All right, we're locking him in on pepperoni. Sam, what is it?
It's a good job you didn't, because it would be pepperoni.
Right.
I don't think you can beat. We did a garlic French bread pizza with pepperoni about a month ago, and the way those little suckers cup up,
yes,
and the grease gets in the bottom of the little bowl that they make,
yes,
is insane. It's insane. The
So good.
picture makes me start to drool. Okay, one more.
Guy, good news. You are 2 for 2. That means you have 3 chances to win here, so you can puke 2 away if you want. I wouldn't suggest that. So let's go ahead and do it. Oh, Guy, between the two liquors, which would Sam pick as his favorite? Bourbon or Scotch?
I'm gonna go. Got Ron Burgundy chasing me in my head right now. Bourbon.
Final answer?
I think he likes his bourbon, which is old fashioned. Yeah.
All right,
bourbon.
Locking him in. Well, this is for all the marbles right here, and he could do it 3 in a row. Sam, which is?
He's right. I do like my bourbon, but that would not be my pick.
No?
No.
What? What?
Hi.
I like bourbon, but if I had to pick one, I'm going with a Scotch, in particular a very smoky, peaty one like Oban or Lagavulin.
No Lefroy on that.
No, I don't mind Lefroy, but that would so.
Right. Wow.
It was close though. It was. I had to think about that for a little bit, but it was
That
the
sounds like
smokiness
something
that brought me back.
All right. Here we go. You're allowed to crap one away. No problem, guy. You got 2 more.
There you go.
Guy, which does Sam like best? The newest Tesla or the newest Porsche?
It's random shit, bro. This is some
Public
random
knowledge?
stuff.
Jesus.
He can't help you.
I wouldn't.
No.
Tesla and let's see. What kind of gas mileage does the Porsche get?
Who gives a shit?
You need to put a time limit on it.
Great. I'm going to say the newest Porsche.
Porsche. All right, lock you in for final answer there.
Oh, Porsche. I love Porsche.
Between the Tesla and the Porsche, Sam, which is it?
Going to Tesla. I'm going with Tesla.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
Now, I knew Sam had a Tesla. However, that doesn't mean of the two, which one does he really like the best? Because my answer would be Porsche all day long. A 1992 911 turbo whale tail T-tops.
Okay, but it was the newest. It wasn't a 1992 T-tail. Listen, I have this weird thing about flashiness.
Oh,
and to me, a Porsche is a little bit more. Hey, look at me.
But not the Tesla.
The Tesla, it's fucking electric. You can't even hear it. I drive down the aisle at a supermarket parking lot sometimes, and I have to honk because nobody knows I'm there. And I appreciate the non-gas version. So whatever.
All right, here we go.
So now it comes down to this.
I can't believe we've worked our way to question number 5. It seems like this happens every month.
A guy that has a name like he does.
Yeah.
Guy of the Cooking Sam. How do I not want him to win? I do.
Right.
So don't F this next one up.
No kidding. No pressure, Guy. Oh, Guy.
Yeah.
Who does Sam think is hotter? Gordon Ramsay or Guy Fieri? I know who I think's hotter.
What the hell kind of question is that, Greg?
Don't stall.
A good one. That's a good question.
Okay. Who's hotter?
I was
only like to say
talk it out.
When he quotes Guy Fieri, he wants somebody to slap him. Gordon Ramsay. Well, because he's always changing his
final answer
shirt in his videos. Yes.
Gordon Ramsay, locked in. Between Guy and Gordo, Sam, who's hotter?
Well, he does make an interesting point that I do find Guy Fieri a little annoying. I thought his cooking show in the kitchen, whatever that thing was horrid. I do think he's great on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. That's really his spot. Of the two, if I had to pick one, I'd say Guy just won himself a sweatshirt because it would be Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, thank God.
That's awesome. It's cold as hell over here right now.
Thank goodness. All right. Well, the good news is you stretched it all the way out to 5, which as a host, I appreciate the drama. And you are going to win yourself a sweatshirt. So you send me an email, Guy, Greg at bbqcentralshow.com, and tell me if you want the Make America Cook Again or the...
Guy, just do this. Go to shopstcg.com, pick any sweatshirt, and just tell Greg which one it is, and we'll get it off to you.
And size.
I don't give a shit.
Oh, that's awesome.
And size, yeah.
I knew I changed my name for a reason.
I wear a large, by the way.
That's right. All right, Guy, do that, and we thank you for playing the What Does Sam Like Best game.
I love this
And
game.
From everybody here, we say adieu. All right. I can't. He was there. He was there 3 in a row, and he almost pissed it away. I can't believe it.
He pulled it out at the end. That's all that matters.
I'm surprised that you picked Scotch. I detest Scotch. I mean, I don't drink anymore, but I detest Scotch when I was drinking.
Oh, you're that guy.
I used to
You're
drink.
that Yelp guy. You're the guy that goes on Yelp and goes, well, I didn't enjoy my meal. The food wasn't very, like an Indian restaurant. The food wasn't very good. And then like blah, blah, blah. And I don't really like Indian food anyways. How can a guy that doesn't drink gauge
I used
what's
to.
better. And by the way, it has nothing to do with your taste. It's my taste.
That's right. I know. But I'm just surprised. I thought I knew you
It's the
better.
smokiness.
There you go. Yeah. So do you not
I cook more with bourbon, that's for sure.
because of the sweetness?
I do like the sweetness, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see where we're
cook on
at.
this back.
Yeah. All right. Let me pull this back up.
Okay.
And I want to know. I gotta get the right settings here. I want to know what your thought was when you saw this the first time. Oh, you know what the problem is?
No idea.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yep.
It's
Hold on,
Damien.
I'll fix that. What did you think of when you saw this the first time?
Gorgeous. Okay, so today we are making some burgers. Right, boys? Right. So first, we are going to get our ground beef. Looking gorgeous. And we are going to throw in some of this kid.
Look, let me flashback. What do you think of could it be any more perfect right now? You have the same shirt on now that you have in this animation, if you can believe it. I mean, that is mere coincidence.
Just let me say that Doodles and Things captured us perfectly. He said all the things that I say. He got Max looking like Max. Chance was just a head on like a tripod on a whatever. It was hilarious. The background, the lid of the Evo over my right shoulder there.
There's the
Traeger. I don't know that I've ever kissed a bowl of ground big. The Traeger, the whole thing. I mean, the sofa, the couch,
mixing it with my hands, Maxie.
You go to like.
Look at Max. And it looks like Max. It looks like us. He did such a good job.
I'm trying to.
I wrote and I said, I go, it was creepy as fuck, but it was fantastic. And he wrote back and he said, that's what I was hoping you would say.
And like the nuances is what kills me. It's saying using the word kids a lot because you call food kids sometimes, and then you burn yourself. Then the swearing, and there was so much minutia. To me, that's the sign of a fan, but somebody that's really pulling out something that a fan of yours can really appreciate. A lot of inside jokes.
He's really paid attention. And anybody that would look at anything like this and get pissed off at how it was drawn or how dumb or whatever it made you look, it's just it's satire and it's meant to be that. And he did such a beautiful job.
Oh, it was absolutely fabulous. And Damien is the guy that makes this. I don't want to use his last name because technically he's not of age. The person who did this, believe it or not, 17 years old.
See, we talked about that.
Fresh out of high school.
I remember believing he was young because of something that I guess his father sent it and said, "Hey, I don't know if you're going to see
this,
proud of my son."
On the email, his dad's name is on the email account. So when he writes the email, he signs it Damien, but there's another name that appears when it's sent. So I had asked him about that. But this kid's 17. He's got a really bright future. I'm going to break.
Okay.
I'm going to do a read. We're going to come back, and I'm going to unveil a brand new animation that Damien made because I was so taken by yours. I had to get in touch with this guy and see if he couldn't animate one of my favorite bits. So stand by. We'll come back in 1 second, and I will unveil to you, the Centralite public and Sam, the brand new animation that Doodles and Things did for the Barbecue Central show. Let me talk to you quickly about Yoder Smokers, designing and building all of their products right here in the States, building pride through craftsmanship and world-class customer service. That's the backbone of how they've built this company. This approach translates into what can be a truly bespoke style product that elevates gatherings with friends and family. They're honored to have a trusted place in the backyards of America. From pellet cookers to wood-fired offset pits and charcoal grills, consistent blue ribbon flavor has become synonymous with the Yoder Smokers name. Make no mistake, Yoder Smokers flavor-driven design unique to each style of pit, and their team has developed Their team has developed their cookers to perform time and time again while outlasting the competition for generations to come. It's this generational thought that's rooted in the handmade products and defines the integrity of the core values, American-made quality and endless flavor. Those are the benchmarks of Yoder Smokers. Visit yodersmokers.com and grab yours today. That's yodersmokers.com. I need to follow up with Jason from the Howard Stern Show to see if he pulled the trigger on the YS640 that we were talking about last week. It's a great cook. Check him out, yodersmokers.com. And we are back with more Sam the Cooking Guy and a brand new reveal of a brand new animation made for me, made by Doodles and Things, Damien over there. So stand by for that. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Celebrating over 10 years of prolific and unparalleled live fire barbecue and grilling talk. And yes, it's still being done from Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Smithfield. Head to smithfield.com right now for recipes as well as tips and tricks from well-known live-fire cooks like Darren Worth, Jess Pryles, and Childs Cridland. With mouth-watering flavor and no artificial ingredients, Smithfield Fresh Pork is quite simply the finest pork money can buy. Trusted choice of top cooks for use at competitions and at home, smithfield.com. And if you're a competitor, smoking with smithfield.com to report your first-place finishes in pork and ribs. And we are rejoined by Sam the Cooking Guy. So, go ahead.
So, let me say this. During that little break, I was thinking about Damien, and I was reminded of a very, very talented cartoonist named Gahan Wilson. Does that mean anything to you?
No.
So it may mean something to people of a certain age. Gahan Wilson was a cartoonist. I think he's passed, and he did books, all kinds of things. But he had this very dark humor, macabre kind of humor. And you might know him because his cartoons were small in the corner of the pages of Playboy. Back when they published an actual magazine. I don't know if they still do. I'm guessing it's all digital now. And they were not sexual at all. They were just very black, dark humor. And his style is not unlike Gahan Wilson. And for me, that's a huge compliment because I was a real fan of his stuff. Anyway, so he's 17. There's no way he could know him, but he should go look him up.
I was so taken with your animation. I found him commenting in the comments after he had posted it on his YouTube. I reached out, got some replies back. I said, hey, I don't know if you're doing contract work or not, but here's a thought. I would send you about a minute's worth of audio. I already had a couple things in my head that I could send him. But then I would need you to animate that. So don't worry about making voices or anything like that you did for Sam's. I'll provide that portion. I just need your animation skills. We're able to strike a deal. And 2 weeks later, last evening, I get a finished product that I would like to reveal this evening. I don't know if you're excited for this or not. Friends of my show and listeners would know that one of the most unbelievable portions and segments of the show was when Meathead made an announcement about 2 years ago that the best thing to come off of a grill out of anything ever was pineapple.
Ever.
That's the best thing that comes off of a grill. And
his website is Amazing Ribs.
Yes, not amazingpineapple.com, amazingribs.com.
Amazing fruit, no.
We had a back and forth after that, and it was to much acclaim. It was played over and over again on best moments of this and that and the other thing. And it has now found its way into the second animation of the show that I've ever had. So without any further ado, Doodles and Things has animated the pineapple segment. For your viewing pleasure, I reveal to you right now.
Everybody who is into grilling knows I'm just going to come out and say it.
All right.
Of everything you can put on the grill, nothing in this world, animal, vegetable, mineral, is better than a pineapple. God almighty, I love grilled pineapple.
What? Meathead, I have to look back at our 10 years of doing interviews together and hold everything in question that you said. I can't believe that the best thing coming off of a grill on any side of anything is pineapple.
Have you ever just grilled a slice of pineapple?
Meathead. My mind is spinning. I think I'm
You didn't
ready
answer
to
the question.
explode. Of course I have. Never
Isn't it
once
fantastic?
have I
All
thought
right,
that this could be the best thing I've eaten off a grill. No way.
I have
Prime
to
rib is
temper it
better.
with the
Every
fact-
steak is better. Chicken is better. Turkey is better. Pizza is better. Meathead, you are off your medicine. We might have to call an end to this whole goddamn thing now. Oh, my God. Look at this guy. Is that unbelievable?
Okay, it's unbelievable. It really is. 17. What a future he has. What a future he is right now. I mean, holy shit.
I told him, I said, look, I have no idea what it takes to animate anything, but I looked like me. Meathead looked like Meathead. I mean, characteristic, this and that. But the resemblance is uncanny. It's so
your
good.
head came in when you're in the throes of the argument, right? It wasn't just he could have just had Meathead on one side and then you show up, but you show up, he shows up, you show up. I mean, the way he overlaid all of this stuff, he's really talented.
Yeah, he's got such a future at either contracting or I'm sure some animation house would be happy to snap him up now or start courting him by the time he gets of legal age, and then he can go to work. I mean, this guy could be working for Disney in a couple of years. Who knows? So
listen, Doodles and Things on YouTube. Please go subscribe, follow, like, hit the notification bell. He's really good.
Yeah, it's going to
be
great.
I'm sure it takes time, and he's at school, and he's got other stuff to do.
Yeah, right.
But geez, that was fantastic.
If you just missed it,
he made
or
you
you're
look
just
pretty
hearing
good too,
about
by the
it.
way.
I'm sorry?
He made you look great.
He did. I mean, I was so happy.
Amazing.
I was very happy with the way the whole thing looks. So if you're hearing about it now or you missed it, I'm going to post it on all the social media, on my Facebook page and all that stuff. So just stand by until the show ends, and then you can watch as many times as you would like. But this is Doodles and Things. I'm sure he's open for contract. So if you'd like to animate something, go to his YouTube page and check it out because he spoofs a whole bunch of other great YouTube stuff like Googa, Sam, a whole bunch of other real popular folks as well. So
he did a very funny thing with Googa.
Oh, yeah, he did. It's very funny.
The Googa thing was great. Yeah.
That's a new animation. You did a video that you released yesterday covering the new McDonald's hacks.
Yeah, which I think was a genius idea on their part. You don't like this?
I would be more...
Which one is it?
I would be more attuned to wanting to like this, except for this thing. If you go and order it, they give you all of the tools, but you have to assemble it. Like if I want to order something off it.
No, I don't think that's true.
It's 100%
there was a question.
True.
It is?
Yes. Bill Oakley, the Barbecue Central Show's official fast food reviewer and expert that you can find on Instagram, said that you have to do all of this building in the car or, in the restaurant.
I thought so. Look, I've not, we saw them, we made them.
Yeah.
It's like, look, for those of you that don't know, they make something called a land, air, and sea. It's a Big Mac with a McChicken and a filet of fish in it.
Right.
There's a sausage McMuffin that has a hash brown crammed into it. It's those kinds of things. We did it yesterday. We did all 4 of the new hacks. And my understanding, having not gone and had them, only seen them from their pictures, is that when you ordered it, it came done. And you're saying it does not come done?
No, it does not come done. In fact, I saw a couple of YouTubers that were testing these and evaluating these together. And they had sacks of food, and they were opening the filet of fish, and they were opening the other sandwich, and then they were putting it all
because
together.
That's how it came?
Yes.
Or because that's how they ordered it?
No. No.
Do you know for sure?
Well, I don't want to call into question the I believe my fast food guy saying that you can order off menu stuff, but they won't build it like that in the restaurant. They give it all to you, and you have to build it after the fact.
But isn't that counterintuitive? I mean,
yes, it's totally counterintuitive, which is why the guy was like, I don't know why they would let you order off menu if they're not building it.
Selling extra shit? Which doesn't seem like that's what the plan would be. I'm not comfortable with this until I know for certain.
Well, I have half a mind to call up Bill Oakley right now and see if he knows or if it changes from region to region. However,
no, I can't imagine. No, they're not going to do regional changes.
Like he knows people at McDonald's, corporate
Look,
people.
They'll make regional changes. Like, look, back in the day, 20 years ago, you could go to McDonald's in Hawaii and order Sai Min. Do you know what that is? It's basically sort of like a ramen type soup. You would get noodles and broth and a piece of fish cake and that kind of stuff. It was delicious. I don't think they do that anymore. That regionality difference I get, but I don't see them selling you a hash brown and a sausage McMuffin and making you do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them selling you a Big Mac, a filet of fish, and a McChicken and making you rip them all apart and throw them together. That doesn't make sense in my mind.
All right. Well, I will get to the bottom of this. I think you're wrong, but I will get to the bottom of this with confirmation, and then I will either retract or confirm the fact that I was right and or wrong, and we'll go from there.
You. As will I.
Yeah, but I believe I distinctly remember Bill Oakley going, this is a pain in the ass because you got to put everything together in the car. And he reviews, like his bit is, he does it on Instagram, it's a minute or less, and he does everything from his car. So he gets it right out of the drive-thru, he goes, parks in the lot, and then reviews it immediately. That's his whole
All right,
thing.
well, I'm going to go look. I'm going to check. When we hang up, I'm going to go have my dinner.
Yes.
It's waiting for me.
Uh-huh.
Salmon, delicious salmon.
Captain Crunch salmon?
Nope. No, it was tuna, by the way.
You wearing your watch?
Here's what you do. You take some salmon. You mix a little Japanese mayonnaise, Kewpie, with sriracha over the top, which is a light layer. A little salt and pepper. And then you take green onion that you hate, fresh dill, and fresh curly parsley. You chop them all and you put them over the top. And then you put it into a 250 oven for 30 minutes exactly.
Yeah.
And it is the most amazingly gorgeous slow roasted herb salmon ever. And for people that eat seafood, there might be 2 people listening right now. I'm telling you, go to the website cookingguy.com, slow roasted herb salmon, make it. Will win friends, and it's the best thing ever.
By the way, for dinner tonight, I had hard seared tuna. Believe it or not, in the Cooking Guy cast iron. What?
Cooking pink in the middle.
It was like rare.
You said
plus.
salmon or tuna?
Tuna.
Rare
plus.
plus.
Yeah, rare plus.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was so good.
What was on it?
I put a little steak seasoning on it for the sear.
Look at you. I love that.
Yeah, it was very nice. So,
way to go. Nice job.
We'll double check on the McDonald's hacks and
as will I.
Before we're done for the evening, I want to do a little promotion of Sam the Cooking Guy. You have a new book that's going to be coming out. Now we're in the pre-order stage.
Sam the Cooking Guy, Between the Buns.
Between the Buns. Do you have a picture of the cover?
Do I have it? Of course I do. Do you want me to send it to you?
Oh, well, I didn't know if you had,
if you go to my website.
Book. I can.
Cookingguy.com. You can link to it from the homepage. Sorry to make you work. I didn't know you were going to do this.
That's all right.
I would have been prepared, but I would have sent
Do I go
it
to shop? Cookbooks?
No, just go. Look, just scroll down the homepage. You can see there should be a picture of it right there.
Here we go.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Look at this guy. Sam the Cooking Guy.
Look at that.
Between the Buns.
How do you not like that?
Can I ask a dumb question?
My wife hates that picture, by the way. She hates the book cover.
She hates this picture?
Does not like food on my face.
Sam, I don't think you've ever looked more delicious than in that picture.
That's what I'm thinking.
Is the cheese really on your head, or did you just take is this a green screen photo magic?
No. So here's the deal. We shot 6 days in a row, the photography for that book. And at the end of the very first day, I said, look, I want to take this picture, send it to my publisher, because if they say it's a horrible and they're not going to even consider it, then I got to think of something else. So we took that picture. I sent it to them. They wrote back, everybody here loves it. So then I went, great. So now we know it's cool. Now we'll take a different one. So we took another one, couple days down the road. There was turkey, there was a mayo, there was a whole kind of shit all over the place. It just was never as good as the first one we took, which is that one. So Lucas Barbieri, amazing photographer that did my last cookbook and this one. You see the top bun?
Yeah.
It was on an angle. He straightened it out. The cheese had some weird wrinkles in it. He straightened those out. But that is the first picture we took just to see if people would like it. And they did. It's a literal
Dave's
version
Got
of
Beer from Twitch is saying he's already pre-ordered the book. How about that?
What a man. And by the way, if you pre-order the book, somebody will win a private virtual cooking class with me. Just us hanging, cooking, eating, drinking. Well, not drinking if it was you, but you can't win, by the way. So many other people will be able to drink, and then it'll all be fun, and we'll have a best time ever.
Is this your
You go to cookingguy.com. It's on the homepage. You can pre-order it right there and then enter and all that stuff.
Is this your 5th book?
Yeah.
Is there a 6th book coming?
There's a 6th book in conversation as we speak.
Wow.
Right this minute. We're maybe a couple weeks away from a determination about that.
Over the life of the show, so starting back in 2006 when it was just a podcast, I've had a number of fairly accomplished authors on the show. Stephen Reichlin, Dr. Barbecue was on first hour. Ray Lampies wrote probably 5 barbecue cookbooks, all to acclaim. And I wonder now, as you write books, the thing that seems to be very popular to push, and then I have to assume from a business aspect it has to be a number that's watched by the publisher, is pre-order. We want to see how many of these things we can sell before it even hits the door. What kind of a conversation is that when you're putting a deal together? Do they say we want to see so many, or we'd like to see it do?
No, here's the conversation. The conversation is this, and I get asked this all the time. How do you write a book? I have an idea. Can you introduce me to your literary agent, your publisher, that kind of stuff? The conversation these days is very much centered around, yes, you've got a good idea. We like that. How can you, Mr. Author, help push the book? What can you bring to the table? Because they realize that social media and followers are very important. And they want to know that you've got some way to do that. Because, I mean, who's going into a bookstore? If you're not going into a bookstore, how are you finding out about a book? You're finding out because the person that's promoting the book, the author, is going to pimp it on their social media, their TikTok, their everything. And that's very important. And they want to sell books. So we're having this conversation now about the next book before the one comes out, because this will be my 3rd book with this. If we do this, it'll be my 3rd book with this publisher, Countryman. They bought recipes with intentional leftovers, and it's done well enough. It's done very well that they said, let's do another book, and Buns came out of that, Between the Buns. And now they're saying Between the Buns isn't out till May, but we'd like to have this serious conversation about the next book. So everything's doing well enough that they're very excited about this, and I'm excited about this, and I love the. If it happens, it'll be a grill book. And I was talking about you to them a couple days ago when you first asked me to come on this the show, and I said, Greg asked me to be on, and I go, I'm not really a grill guy. I'm not a live fire guy. And you said something like, if you don't think you're a live fire guy, then you're not looking at yourself the right way. How much do you do on a smoker, on a grill, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I guess I didn't see it. Sometimes it takes somebody outside of our little circle to help us understand maybe what makes sense, what we do. And so a big part of what we do now, obviously, and I recognize that, is grilling. And whether it's on a propane barbecue, whether it's on a smoker, whether it's on a pit barrel cooker, whether it's on a Kamado, that kind of thing. I did a grill book once before. It's here. This guy, Sam the Cooking Guy, just grill this.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. There was one conversation in it about what to cook on. It was a gas grill. This was a whole bunch of years ago. I have grown so much since then, but also so has my audience. If I was bringing out smokers and Kamados and stuff when this book came out, I don't know that people would be paying attention and watching.
Yeah.
But the world has really changed, especially in the past couple of years since this pandemic hit. People have said, I'm at home. I got a lot of time on my hands. Let me figure out how to bake bread, how to do this, how to smoke food, how to grill, how to get better out there. And so capitalizing on that a little bit, and my audience being a mostly male 18 to 44 audience, lots of women, of course. I mean, 3 million plus people. There's a big mix of everybody and all over the world, but there's a lot of requests for this kind of stuff. And the publisher recognizes that. They're in business to make money. And they go, look, we think this could be a great book for you. So that's a conversation we're having right now. And I'm excited because it would let me expand beyond this guy with everything was done on a gas grill, right? Now there's smoking. There's hanging stuff in a pit barrel like a device. There's Kamado kind of stuff. There's Santa Maria up and down with the wheels, that kind of stuff. There's everything.
You can
pre-order.
pre-order.
It's very fun. I like it.
Go pre-order Between the Buns now.
You can pre-order Sam the Cooking Guy Between the Buns right now. Go to Amazon or barnesandnoble.com or your favorite independent bookstore. It's very likely they'll have a link to it there. You can pre-order it, and then you go to cookingguy.com on the homepage. There's a place you can enter your name and blah, blah, blah. So you pre-ordered it, and then you might win a virtual cooking class. It'll be lots of fun.
All right. Well, I have some breaking news here. This is coming in from Smokin' Joe's Barbecue Pit. Newsflash, the new McDonald's Land, Air, and Sea Sandwich has to be assembled. I called 2 local McDonald's stores. Joe, thank you. Wally Inskeep also weighing in, saying it's my understanding that they all come separately and you have to build it yourself.
So are you now buying a McChicken?
I'm sure they have it priced.
A Big Mac and a fillet of fish?
Yeah, I'm sure they have it priced accordingly. I'm sure that it's got to be some kind of a deal, I would imagine, but maybe not.
You say Land, Air, and Sea, and you get the components, but then you get a whole bunch of extra shit that.
Yes, because you're not using all of the tops and all of the bottoms and all the.
I hope you have chickens because that's where that stuff should go. One of my boys has chickens, and they love everything.
Yes. They're garbage eaters, no doubt.
We should all have chickens, by the way.
I would, but I'm afraid that I'm afraid they would just leave my backyard too much of a mess.
Well, that's why they make coops.
Yeah.
You live in a house. You don't live just in a yard. Your chickens would live in a house. You let them out in a little area.
They got to
wander
poop
around,
and stuff, right?
Yeah, but you make a place for them.
Maybe I could just let them go into the preserve next door where they can't build because it's too wet. Or they say they're saving nature, but I know what the deal is. Let them sneak under the fence and let them go into the field there. Why not?
Yeah,
free range
Go find
chickens
stuff.
here in Cleveland. There you go.
Exactly right.
All right, so go pre-order Sam's book that'll be coming out next spring.
May 17th.
This spring, I mean. Sorry.
May 17th. Perfect.
May 17th. Perfect for that. And then as
Tacos,
we close out,
burgers.
as we close out the segment, the way we've been doing the last couple months, what should I be making for dinner tomorrow night?
Well, I'd like to say the salmon. I mean, it's waiting for me. And look, I don't know how much seafood your general audience eats. Max is always telling me our audience is not seafood friendly. I said, but they should be. You need to change stuff up. I say this all the time. Don't eat the same thing all the time. Yes, because you love a burger. You can't eat, burger every. I mean, I guess you could eat a burger every night of the week, but you shouldn't. You'll appreciate it better if you intersperse that burger with other things. I'm not saying go eat salad, though I do like a good salad and a couple great dressings, but salmon, good fat, low in fat, but the fat that's there is good. It's low calories. It's good for you. Think about it. You want to smoke it, grill it. Oven, slow roast it in the oven at 250 for a half an hour like I did. That's what I'm going to say. Go make that. Change shit up. And by the way, if you are a guy in a relationship with a woman and you bust out the salmon that I have waiting for me, the slow roasted herb salmon, there's only one thing that's going to happen when you're done. And I can't say it on this channel or I'll get in trouble. You got it, buddy. There you go.
Oh, yeah. Come here, Mrs. Cooking Guy. It's time to eat some salmon, and then I'll see you for a little wrestling a little later. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my.
Right. Sam the Cooking Guy is right here. You see him on this show the first Tuesday and the second hour every month. You can see him otherwise on YouTube 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays with new cooking shows. And all the other stuff you want to see, thecookingguy.com, shop STCG.com, or is it shop dot? Yes, okay, get all that stuff there.
Shop STCG.com. There you go.
And do all that. Sam, always appreciate the time, and we will see you again in March. There he is, Sam the Cooking.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. All right, there he is. We are a little over, but that's a problem for not me, and definitely not a problem for you. Let me pull this up because I don't have it. Go. We thank Sam the Cooking Guy. I will talk to you very, very quickly about Vortic Watch. Back at it for 2022. That's right. If you, like me, like watches, this is the Sam the Cooking Guy watch, by the way. If you like watches, and especially old-timey watches, pocket watches, but you don't want to carry them in your pocket, you wanted to wear it on your wrist, that's Vortic's wheelhouse. They're converting the age-old pocket watch into a real functioning arm piece that you can wear right on your wrist, making them into wristwatches. Go to VorticWatches.com. See what they're releasing. Watches every business day, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Be on the lookout. Subscribe to the newsletter, releasing at noon Mountain Time. So make sure that you are planning to watch for those because they get snapped up really quick. At some point, they are re-releasing the Railroad Watch. That's the watch that I was supposed to get last year, but they ran into some production snags. So hopefully they get that worked out, and then I can show you the piece that I've been waiting for now over a year. And it'll be spectacular when it finally gets here. In the meantime, VorticWatches.com. That's VorticWatches.com. And we are back to wrap the show right after this. Actually, we'll just go ahead and wrap the show right now, all the way back in the first hour. We were talking with Malcom Reed from How to BBQ Right. And we did our first of 4 barbecue round tables with just Malcom. We learned how to do pork butt from start to finish the Malcom way. After Malcom, it was Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue. We talked about his new partnership with Louisiana Grills that he had talked about on the show. We also talked about his most recent competition that he did last weekend after a 5-year layoff. And then second hour, Sam the Cooking Guy. A guy The Cooking Sam. Make sure that you visit shopstcg.com, pick out the sweatshirt that you want, then let me know what you want, and then I will send it along to Sam. He'll get it out to you. And then, of course, the new book that Sam has coming out this spring, Sam the Cooking Guy, Between the Buns. Pre-order now, Amazon.com and all the other places. Big show planned for you next week. As I had mentioned, Jeremy Andrus, CEO of Traeger Grills, will be coming on the show for the balance of the first hour. It's going to be a conversation you don't want to miss. And then, huge second hour as well, of course. So put it in your calendars. Make sure you want to watch this one live. You're going to want to watch this one live. That's what I meant to say. So how do I always leave you? September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Till next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. This is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.
Hi, this is Jeff Richards, Columbus, Ohio. You're listening to Barbecue Central.